Hello, everyone, and welcome to Zest to Zen with me, Shel Marie, the podcast that will take you on a journey from the hustle to the harmony, fueling your passion whilst finding your peace. Today, it's an absolute honor to welcome Ivan, a guide with over a decade of experience helping people embrace their true selves. His journey is anything but extraordinary, from childhood insecurities and rejection to heartbreak and self-doubt. He discovered a profound truth that transformed everything about how he sees himself and the world now, which I am super excited to find out about. Through his work at CoUnity, again, a word that I just really love, that I want to find out more about, he empowers others to break free from limitations, embrace authenticity, and step fully into their own power. So in this episode, I hope we are going to uncover the moment that changed his life and how it can change yours too. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you, Shel. Glad to be here.
You're so welcome. So first of all, one really, even though I've read your bio, but I'm just going to be a really open book and curious. And CoUnity, where did that come from?
So this is not my company. I currently contribute at a company or a little startup that's called CoUnity, where we serve communities in the Web3 space and help brands build their most loyal following. And this is something I did in the past in the Web2 space through a company that's quite popular. It's called Mindvalley.
I know Mindvalley.
A lot of people do. That's
Yeah.
why it's popular. So I was in Kuala Lumpur and I was a community manager there at Mindvalley, and now I am a community organizer, manager, advocate programs, champion at this little startup. It's a boutique little agency.
Amazing, amazing. And I'm sure that lots of your prior experience, not just Mindvalley, just generally you and your life, has left little breadcrumbs or gems, whatever we want to call it, leading up to the point that you're at today. Is there anything that, have you had any like aha moments or anything that has really stood out to you?
Well, that's not an easy question because I have aha moments literally daily. I mean, where do I even begin? Look, not more than 10 years ago, I was an atheist. I was absolutely convinced that I live in a tangible reality and what I can touch is what it is, and it actually is that thing. My body is what it is. There is no energetic component to it. I was even triggered when I would hear things like that. I believed that when I drop this physical vehicle, then that's it. It's the TV off and that's it. Blackness forever. But and I was proud of that. I was advertising that online. I used to have little courses around fitness and nutrition, and in my bios, I would not just talk about my fitness accomplishments and kind of qualify myself so people know who that guy is, but I also would point that out that I don't believe in any spirits and souls and anything like this. Whereas today, I'm an idealist. I understand that everything is mind, and I'm just an individuation of mind. And in between, there are, oh gosh, thousands of insights. I mean, just the other day, I was not to go over the details. It doesn't matter, but let's say the details were conducive to deep relaxation and introspection and reflection, and I had so many thoughts about the nature of existence itself, what I am, what we are, what thoughts are. For example, I even thought that anything that is a human agenda introduces disharmony in otherwise a harmonious nature with capital N. In other words, humans with our little egoic conscious minds, because that's what we associate ourselves in our waking hours, we think of ourselves as me, which is the main construct, the ego construct. And when our agendas come from that place, we have to achieve all of these things. We have to become all of these things that society has pretty much trained us to be and do, which, by the way, most people have never taken 2 moments to sit down and think about these things for themselves. For example, most people, when I ask them, well, what is success? They will tell me what they've heard a million times from social discourse. But when I ask them, well, what is success for you? For you, what does success mean for you?
Wow.
And they get kind of taken aback because they've never thought about these things. And when I ask, well, do you want $10 million? Not really. What is important for you? And they find out that they don't want 99% of the things they thought they want. So enough said about our agendas and where these agendas come from, which is mostly unexamined places. But to make a circle to what I wanted to say, and I'm just beating around it, but it's a useful context. A few days ago, when I was sitting there, and this thought or insight came to me that anything that is a human agenda of the format of I have to go and do this, I have to achieve this, it's literally introducing disharmony in otherwise harmonious, beautiful, and perfect nature. But since we're products of nature as well, we cannot really tangibly introduce harmony because nature's books are always perfectly balanced. So I'll stop here to see where that takes you with your questions.
No, wow. There's so many elements to that. And first of all, I first want to acknowledge how really raw and real you were at the start, saying, your journey. I know you didn't dive into it deeply, but I felt it. I felt what you were expressing. And I really honor you for admitting. And I think this is particularly something a lot of us find tricky, is the acceptance of like, that used to trigger me, this and I really respect you for that. First of all, thank you so much. And then I love how you've just really even if people don't understand what you said, or they do understand, it's irrelevant. It sparked a seed for reflection, and I think this is what I really love, which is really important, is I actually think it's really important when people do sometimes not get it and they have to go back and re-listen, because sometimes we think we're listening, but we're almost waiting to talk, or we're waiting to predict what someone's going to say. So in being fully present and really listening, that's when you know that if you've kind of lost the point or something, that you weren't quite fully aware, you weren't quite fully present and listening. So I really love what you said, and the energy of it as well. It was really powerful. Thank you. So I kind of feel like I want to lead that a little bit, because I want people to unfold that on them by themselves. I think sometimes, particularly when we are coaches or something, we almost like always want to like give or provide, and sometimes we actually have to drop the seed and allow it to blossom itself. And I think you just did that. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. If I can say something on what you just said, first of all, thank you for the compliments. I don't know if I deserve them, but I don't want to display false humility, and I owe you thank you. Second, I didn't I didn't speak to people's ears when I said the things I
Mm.
said. I spoke to very ancient parts of them, and
Yeah.
these ancient parts understand what I said.
I
Their
know.
minds may kind of have to come back to it again, but their real being understands what I
Yeah.
said, if it's valid at all. And it's like reading a book, and then you put it away and you go, well, it was okay, but it wasn't like what she told me or he told me. And then you come back to it 5 years later and you
Yes.
go, why didn't I get it?
Yeah.
Well, because it wasn't you. It was somebody else who
Yeah.
read the book, but it wasn't you now with your understanding, your philosophy, and your current mind blueprint and setup. But something you said that also kind of made me think and want to say something, if I may, is about our usual patterns of being in a conversation, but being in our own heads, and in a way not really listening and planning what we want to say, or worrying how the other person sees us and how they
Mm.
judge us or don't judge us. Well, if you think about it, isn't that the ultimate way to be alone? Can you imagine to be with somebody
Hmm.
but still be alone? Because you're
Yeah.
not with them, you're in your own head. And I've done that for decades. I know exactly how it feels. I still do it sometimes, but it's a very small percentage.
Yeah.
Why? Because I'm still human, and that's totally fine. I haven't worked out all my little kinks, and I believe that's why I'm here. That's why all of us are here, not to achieve the things we think we want, but to do the growth and the inner work that we get thrust into while on the journey of achieving. In other words, the achieving whatever we want out there, is not the end goal really. It's the means to the end goal. And somebody's going, well, what is the end goal? I just said it, to evolve, to
Yeah.
personally evolve. So that is one of the benefits. You can be with somebody and really be with somebody, instead of being with somebody physically but ultimately be alone.
Yes.
So I'll pause here to see what's coming up here.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. I hear all you're saying, and I too. And that's why I think it's super important what you mentioned about going back to something years, or it could be months, it could be days. We all evolve at different levels, but and being like, I get it now. And I think that ties into what you just said, because um, basically I used to be the same, in the sense of like I wasn't aware that I was always waiting to speak, waiting for the pause, and so that, like, it's nothing to do with like someone better than anyone else. It's nothing about that. It's the fact that we have to still be kind and honor that version, but also almost like look from a different perspective of like, oh, I see now.
Hmm.
And there'll be there'll be other people, and we'll be like, oh, what do you mean? I don't get it, or read something or hear something. And I think that summarizes what you've just explained of the beauty of the unfolding of life. And that's the thing, is like we think we're running and we're going to get somewhere, and then the bar post goes over there, or it turns there, or something comes in the way. And that's life. That's the whole essence, if you want to call it, the beauty of the unfolding of life. Because to think like getting to the destination, what do we do? Okay, well, what are we going to do next?
Yeah, there's never getting there really, because
Exactly.
even as we approach the goal, and I'm putting air quotes
Yeah.
here, we already moved the goalpost, so
Yeah.
we never really arrive, but for a few minutes, if we are to enjoy a goalpost, but it moves.
Yeah,
There is no arrival
absolutely.
really. uh,
Yeah.
but but I want to comment, if you don't mind, a little bit on this constant need to insert in the pause and say something when we talk with somebody. And again, I've done this for more decades that I want to admit. Well, I don't mind admitting almost most of my life, but I didn't I didn't know where this was coming from, and I used to judge myself, and I used to judge others when I would be conscious of that.
Yeah.
I no longer do that a lot, but even if I do it, I don't judge myself, and I no longer judge others who do it because they cannot be different than they are right now.
Exactly.
They have to go through this path of the journey, and maybe they'll stay there for the rest of their this iteration of the game, this life, and that's totally fine too. It wasn't meant for them to work it out in this lifetime, but some people will move on, and the big part of moving on is the realization that the need to speak comes from the egoic need to be seen, which
Yeah.
is related to the need to get a confirmation that one exists. In other words, if I'm seen, therefore I exist, therefore I matter. People want constant proof that they matter
Yeah.
because they can't get that from inside, they have to get it from outside. See?
Yeah. I hear you. And I think when you come from that stance, which is why I love that you said the non-judging, when you can actually see it from that perspective, and again, not in a judging way, don't you have more compassion in your heart for them?
I mean, that's undoubtable, if that's an English word, but absolutely. But there is a little bit to be said about having compassion for others before having compassion for yourself. And I think that we try to mix up the order, and then we get frustrated that we cannot have compassion for others. We have to have compassion for ourselves first. But then how do you have compassion for yourself when you know that you're this broken thing, that you don't matter, that you're damaged goods, and you've known that from your childhood, and you've never worked these shadows out? Most of them are even unknown to you, which is what the shadow is, right? All the known but also unknown material we don't want about us. And so most people, I don't know if it's most, I'm generalizing, but I would suspect most people try to be compassionate with others without being able to be compassionate with themselves, because they have all these parts of themselves they don't even know, they don't even want to know that these parts exist because they're unacceptable for the person. But what wholeness means is not being some kind of enlightened Jedi or something. It means to be a human just like everybody else, who's at peace with all of its parts, as disagreeable as they could have been in the past. So yeah, there's a lot to be said about that. I'll pause here for a second.
I really honor you mentioning that, because something that I don't know why I feel like mentioning this, but there's obviously maybe a reason. But something that came up really recently for me, and it was for a discussion with my friend. So I feel like often when we are, thank goodness, most of the time, not always, but in the more safer containers where we can reflect. And I remember basically I was having quite a deep emotional conversation, and I remember like just kind of almost like, I guess in the ego way, looking at myself like, Shelley, you've just lost control of the situation. You know, you got it all going on, but you're almost watching yourself with the unfolding. And I remember, but we have a very sisterly relationship, but I remember almost seeing her like thinking, is she even listening to me? She was just so like staring at me. And then she just says at the end, I've never seen you like this before. And the reason why I wanted to mention this is because one big thing that I've realized that I wasn't aware of, and now I'm becoming more aware of, is I was unconsciously shaming the sides of the shadow, if we want to call it, of me, And then I'm wondering why someone can't fully love me when I can't even love those parts. Like, why should actually, like, I've got so many, oh, just saying this, but like, okay, we have our happy medium, our whatever, our general that we operate at, and we like feeling in that. You know, I love feeling empowered, I love feeling uplifted, motivated, you know, helping people. But actually, why do I then hide away and don't want other people to see other parts of me that aren't so shiny? And she really opened that like doorway for me of, I think there was such a big thing maybe from prior, like so far back of maybe where I was classed as too sensitive or too this or too that, that it was so shamed that I never wanted people to see that version of me again. And she just really lovingly opened that door of like, I love you still no matter what. And if anything, I love you more for showing me this side of you. And it's ongoing, but it was a breakthrough moment. And it was, oh, okay, I can still be lovable even when I show this side that, you know, is kind of like questioning everything, wondering why I'm doing what I'm doing. And basically, in my terms, feeling like a bit of a brat moment, you know, because I generally do have that a little more under control. And I don't know, I just feel like there's a really importance in sharing this, because I think particularly when we say empowerment coach or uplifter, or maybe when you were doing your exercises and empowering people, we kind of put ourselves on this not pedestal, but we represent a certain version of us. And then sometimes when people don't see that version, it's like shame and guilt, when actually if we honor that version, we won't care what they think about it. Because if I can accept that and I can love that, then you should be able to accept all versions of me, and we should grow together, friendship, whatever. And I don't know, I just really feel like that was really important just from what you shared. So thank you for inviting that discussion.
For
So
catalyzing this. Can I say something on
yeah.
what you just said? I want to honor you for going there and for, in a way, through your personal story, giving people permission to begin to accept the parts of themselves that they're not accepting, even unearthing the parts that they've repressed. They don't even know they're there. But you just gave a beautiful personal example weaved into a story about how this journey, or the beginning of a journey, I don't think that's a beginning for you, but how the journey looks like.
Yeah.
But there is also another part that's very important for me, and that is, see, it's so interesting that we think, and I say we think because, again, I thought the same thing and I felt the same thing for most of my life. I didn't know the things I pretend to know now for most of my life, but I thought and felt that I should present my best me to other people so that I have the best chance to be accepted, because this is literally built into our psyche, and it's literally built into our psychology, physiology, because we're still 50,000-year-old physiologies and psychologies. We haven't evolved much, and so we naturally want to be accepted by the tribe, because not being accepted, we know that from thousands of years ago, or 20, 30,000 years ago, we had to be accepted to be kept in. Otherwise, we could die if we were cast out. But what we don't realize is that when we are vulnerable in a way, and I'm careful when I use the word vulnerable because it's been misused so much, but when we're open to share our doubts and insecurities and self-criticisms and all the ways that we're not at peace with ourselves, but we're open to put that on the table for everybody to look at, we surprisingly discover that people relate to us more, a lot more. Why, somebody asks? Well, because they have the same thing on the inside that they don't dare talk about. And so now they found somebody else who is just as broken as they are. And so in that sense, now they can relate much better because they think of themselves as damaged goods and broken and unrepairable and unwanted and all these things that we have at various degrees, all of us from mostly childhood. But now they know that this person in front of them is not some kind of ideal being, which they know they aren't, and now they can relate to that person.
Yeah.
So it pays a lot of dividends to be raw in a way, to not use the word vulnerable.
Amazing. Yeah, I agree with you. And it's just ironic, isn't it, that we're led to believe that, not led to believe, obviously it's all things we generate ourselves anyway from our own experiences, but that we would be pushed away more and unlovable more. But in really owning you and the version of you that day, that hour, that minute, whatever, because it's not all masks. We're not there's something wrong with us if every single day we're positive, and I think, yeah, as long as then you're not doing it the opposite way of like, oh, I just opened up about that and I like how someone's giving me that attention. You just got to keep checking in with yourself, checking in, right? Why have I shared that now? Or why, like if you're doing it like where you kind of said, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but like from an egoic perspective, where you're learning a behavior now of, oh, now that I'm doing that, I'm receiving this, then that's not the right intention. But if you're generally, just particularly for me, like just building those stronger and doing, rapport and relationships, and doing it from a place of like, this is me. Don't worry about being you. We're all good.
That's a great distinction you just made. And there is a bit of irony in all of this, because all we want is to be accepted by others. I mean, not all, but we want that really strongly. It's one of the main things that we subconsciously drive towards. And in that, we don't present our authentic selves, our true selves. We try to manipulate people by presenting a polished, manicured, kind of well-rounded version of us we believe they will accept. And in doing so, we become less relatable. But they're doing the same.
Yeah.
And so it's two people doing the same to each other and failing to relate, and then being disappointed with trying to relate relationships. But the other component that most people don't realize, I believe, is that a lot of the drive to be accepted also comes from the inability to be alone. Because most people, if they get a moment where they're alone, and I don't mean alone in their room, because they'll find a way to distract themselves, because right now we live in the best times ever, by way of how many opportunities and choices we have to distract ourselves. So for most people, spending even a few moments without distraction and alone is so scary, because they now are presented with a lid where if they lift that lid, they'll have to look in the closet of their own being, and they don't trust themselves that they can handle what they'll find there. They're not ready to metabolize the darkness and the skeletons they have in that closet. And so see how it's ironic. We want to be liked by others, but we're unrelatable because of trying too much through the ego structure. But then again, a lot of that is driven by the inability to be alone, because being alone is so scary. But ultimately, the real work happens when we're alone.
Yeah.
Even the work that you mentioned was catalyzed by this co-creation with this other person. But then you had to go back home and ground this. You had to unpack it, and you're still unpacking it.
Yeah.
Right here on this call. So it's very interesting how we function. And going back to the beginning of the conversation, you were asking, well, what is some insight you've discovered? All of what I'm sharing today is insights that I didn't have. And
Yeah.
I was just functioning like everybody else, trying to be liked, trying to be accepted, non-judged, which is impossible. But here we are. So,
Yeah. And I think the biggest takeaway people can get from this is there isn't actually an answer. It's actually just two people sharing their truths, their experiences, and that, even in all that we're doing, there's still things unfolding, and that's okay. It's okay. Um, and for me, even having this now, obviously I'm going to put all your details up of all the incredible things that you are creating and doing, and people can contact you, because I want people to actually see much deeper than just listening to a conversation right now. This incredible man is opening up so much about himself and sharing so much. See the gem in it, that it isn't just listening to a conversation. If there's something that someone is saying right now, reach out. You never know how that could change your life, because think of everything we've just spoke about. We're not saying you have to do it alone. Often we're all searching for people, we're searching for community. Even if, as he incredibly, what an incredible 360 mentioned, you are creating a CoUnity community. Even if that's all you take from today, go for it. Get round people with like-minded minds. Okay, no one's saying they have the answers, but you know what? We're gonna help each other, we're gonna support each other and figure it out together. So I'm really, really, really love this beautiful conversation, co-creation, all these words, it doesn't matter, this connection. I really appreciate you. I could literally keep speaking to you for so long. But I don't know why, but I just feel, obviously, if there's anything else you want to share, but I just feel like there were so many seeds that were just really planted today, that I know that even if it's short or long, there's going to be a lot of reflection and a lot of people having to really think about what's just unfolded in the most beautiful way. But yeah, if there's anything else you wanted to share, I would really appreciate it.
I mean, yes, just listening to you, Shell, it makes me want to wait for the recording so I can listen to it and make sure I don't miss
I
any
want to do the
I
same.
shared here today. But I want to first accept and receive, which was something that I also had to work on because I wasn't able to receive. I would deflect what people
I
want to give
can
me as a
feel that.
gift. And I mentioned this because a lot of us do it.
Yeah.
But these days, I'm much better at receiving. So thank you very much. And now, if you can open up to receive, I want to say that co-creation, community, co-unity, but this co-creation wouldn't have been what it was unless you drove the conversation the way you did and catalyzed the things that we both shared. And I want to make sure that this stays acknowledged here. As we're wrapping up, I guess I want to invite anybody who didn't have anything better to do and listen to this conversation today. But
Receive.
that's right.
He's
That's
working
right.
on it, guys. Don't
Thank you.
worry.
Thank you for the gentle and loving pushback on my choice of words. But I have a little community on WhatsApp. It's called Elevate, Elev8, the number 8, and a direct link to join is at ivannikolov.com/Elev8, ELEV8.
I'll put it
And
all
I'll
in the
give you
notes
that to
as
post,
well.
and I'd love for you to join if you'd
Yeah.
like. But it's a group of 60, 70 misfits who like to kind of
It's just
bounce.
inadvertently like calling me a misfit for everyone. It's okay.
I think everybody will relate to
Aren't they
that.
the most beautiful? They're the lovable rebels. I call myself a lovable rebel. So, you know.
Beautiful, beautiful. So that's there as well. And with that, I thought of a quote from Ramdas. I think it's attributed to Ramdas. And it says, unconditional love is so inclusive, it also includes your own inability to love.
Hmm. Beautiful.
So that's it. There is no arrival. We're all here. Like also Ramdas said, we're all here to walk each other back home.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Thank you so, so much. Usually I say if there's any words you would like to share with someone listening, but I honestly really feel like you just shared such a beautiful, powerful quote in the most beautiful way. But if there is anything you feel right now that someone listening would really need to hear, what would you tell them?
You're not damaged goods, you're not broken, and there is nothing to fix.
Amazing. Amazing. Thank you so, so much. And yeah, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate this conversation so much. And I know there's going to be a lot of people that definitely are going to reach out. And you're amazing. Keep shining and keep receiving. Keep receiving, please.
Thank you, Shel.
You're
Appreciate you.
so welcome.